Blue Collar Hustle says, rumor is Morale is a solo and Steppers is Black Hippie. Oh goodness. Where are these rumors coming from? All right, let's just get into it. Let's get
Let's
into
just
it.
go ahead and get into it. Okay, so a
Let's
couple.
get into it. So
Let's get it.
Kendrick Lamar posted this cryptic photo of two physical CDs, burned CDs with like the markers on them or whatever. One of them says Stepper Master Copy. The other one says Morale, and he has a book in front of it that says Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, Kendrick Lamar. So people took that image and they feel like this could possibly be a double disc. I guess that makes sense. He has two discs in his hand. One part of the album is on one disc, and one part of the album is on the. One part of the album title, excuse me, is on the other disc. What do you think of this, Coop?
I think he's petty and likes attention, just like the rest of us. He's different from you, Mike, because you're actually pretty humble and diplomatic. Oh, but he's no different than dudes like me, who's like petty and like attention. Like he pulled up on Pusha T's release date. He's pulling up on this Black Star album. He liked the attention. Because I'm going to tell you what. You want to know one of the first people to listen to Black Star album? Kendrick Lamar. I bet you.
Of course.
I bet you. And he was like, and he heard the project. He heard the project, and he heard the project, and he was like,
yeah,
don't forget about me. Please don't forget about me.
I think the other part of it too, because it happened on Black Star's date, and it also happened when Jack Harlow put out his track list.
No, that's good that he did that.
I'm glad that he did that too.
I mean, Jack Harlow's getting wrapped in the buzz with legends, and it's like, you haven't done anything legendary.
No.
I can't think of one classic song that he's made.
Well, listen, we're going to listen to this album on Friday, and we're going to talk about this album on Friday, and we're going to rate it appropriately.
We are. We're also going to rate Kendrick appropriately. So let's talk about what happens to all-time great MCs who make double disc. Because I think we have three prime examples, and two of them went really well, and one of them was like mixed results. First of all, if he's doing some speaker box, Love Below type shit, miss me with it. That's the first thing. Miss me with that.
I think that's what he's gonna do.
Okay, now ain't the time for that shit.
Do you think? All right, let's start here. Let's start here. Do you think he's gonna do a double disc?
This is a rapper's climate. Do you understand that this is a rapper's climate? This is not no speaker box Love Below climate. This is a Conway and Benny climate. This is a Freddie Gibbs and Boldy James climate. This is a Pusha T and Nas climate.
Ransom, Black Star.
Ransom climate.
Like you said, he pulled up that Black Star. These niggas is rapping.
J. Cole, this is the rapper's climate. You better not come around here singing and dancing, talking about hey y'all and shit. You understand? I'm so fucking serious.
He's gonna do it.
Like, and if he does it, all of y'all, they've been talking about me keeping that same energy. I want y'all to keep that same energy if he up here singing and dancing. Mike, he better be rapping for 2 albums. He better be rapping his ass off. And listen to what I'm about to say when I'm saying he better be rapping his ass off. He better be rapping his ass off on an All Eyes on Me, Life After Death type of level on this double disc, and not on a Streets Disciple type of level like Nas did. How about that?
Nothing, and I know they're going to say we're hating or whatever, but let's take notes.
I'm going to smoke him the way that you smoked that Nas Streets Disciple album, Mike.
Let's take notes here, right?
Let's take them.
Nothing that has happened during this quote-unquote rollout or anything that's happened over the past. All right, let's start here. Let's start when he put that. No, let's start when he put that letter out. Nothing from that point to here makes me feel good about this album at all. The title doesn't make me feel good. The fact that he put that letter out in the first place and the timing that he put that out doesn't make me feel good. The fact that he was on the Super Bowl stage and didn't release anything around that time period doesn't make me feel good. Because at the end of the day, if he had an album done, a quality album done, there's no better time to release it than at that point when the whole world is watching, right? And if he had 2 quality discs, let's just say hypothetically, he had a double disc that he was working on and it was damn near finished or whatever, these people at Interscope would have been like, look, what we gonna do is, this one sounds finished. We putting this shit out at the Super Bowl, and we could put this one out in the summer. That's not odd. You've been missing 5 years.
Well, here's what I'm trying to say, Mike. Like, okay, there's a couple. No, I hear everything.
I don't
you're
like
saying.
double disc anyway. You know, anybody who listens to the show traditionally, yeah.
I already know how you feel about double disc, but let's address this. And this is what I mean. Well, you're setting yourself up for big, big failure if you don't deliver something life after death or all eyes on me quality. Are you listening to what I'm saying when I say that?
Yeah.
You hold on. Listen to
Because
what I'm saying.
everything else has been a disappointment, right? I think people would collectively agree the Streets Disciple and the Blueprint 2 are disappointments. Correct?
In my personal opinion, he has yet to craft one album that is all eyes on me or life after death. And I think that you're about to do it now after a 5-year break with a double album. I don't think so.
And we ain't heard shit from you?
We ain't heard shit. And so, like, what gives me the reason to be excited about you even doing that? Because I can give you two other legends, Nas and Jay, who double dissertations did not go as well.
Well, you know why they're doing this? Let's just be perfectly honest here. And this is the business side of Mike D talking. They're doing this so he can reach those projections that they put out there early. Those projections that they put out there without us hearing anything, they're releasing a double album so that they can double up the streams. And they can reach those 350 or whatever the numbers are going to be. It's going to compensate for the fact that the album isn't what it should be, right? But the other side of that is you're going to get the numbers, but ask Drake when he put out Scorpion, the quality is going to suffer. It just is.
Right. What if this is about feeling contractual obligations? Because that had to deal a lot with life after death and all eyes on me too.
Well, that's cool, but they executed. And you know what? At the end of the day,
he executed though. And so if he's doing this to fill contractual obligations, I would say that gives me reason to maybe be excited, because the two other times I believe were about fulfilling contractual obligations to get out of deals quicker. But, you know, those guys also, too, weren't on 5-year breaks. I mean, one of the guys was incarcerated and wasn't on a 5-year break.
These guys were on rhythm. See, you're talking about...
He was incarcerated for like 2.5 years. Like,
right. He was incarcerated just coming off of Me Against the World.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And like you said, he had time to really, well, honestly, Pac said in the interview that he really didn't sit there and write while he was locked up, but you still get that reflection time. And as soon as he got out, he was, you know, straight to the pavement and knocking shit out. He worked at a high pace anyway. And then if you want to talk about Big, all the work that Big was doing leading up to Life After Death, from writing with Kim, writing with Junior Mafia, all these remixes, all these features that we talk about with Big that are so legendary, that's what happened between Ready to Die and Life After Death. This guy's not on rhythm.
No, he got better after Ready to Die.
Kendrick's not on rhythm. You took a 5-year break and you think you're going to come back with a double disc? And some people are saying that some of this stuff has been done. But you know what? That's not good either. Shit's going to sound like the Carter 5.
Or I don't think that played well for Pusha T, because he was talking in that article about the back and forth of going between like Pharrell and Ye and the process of that. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's part of why the album doesn't sound consistent beginning to end, because you're going back and forth from one guy's sound to another guy's sound.
Shout out to Ryan Gillum with the super chat. He said Lupe and Crit released a double disc album, and those are great albums. Okay.
No, they're not.
I was waiting on you. Yo, I'll put it this way, man. If Kendrick releases something on that level...
Nothing against Lupe and Crit, but Lupe and Crit are not where Pop, Big, Jay, Nas, or even Kendrick are.
Diplomatic Immunity double disc. See, again, with double disc with groups are a little bit different than individual double disc.
Give me 1 second, Mike. Talk to the folks. 1 second.
Yeah. DeCarlo says, but what if he delivers, Mike? If he delivers, it's high. Look, this is a high risk, high reward. If Kendrick delivers on this and he delivers at a Life After Death, Ready to Die, not Ready to Die, Life After Death, the All Eyes on Me level, I mean, he's top 10 easy based on the rest of his catalog. And they were able to double up with these double discs, depending on how they're put together. If we're talking about two rap albums, if we're talking about I guess more of a melodic album and a rap album over here, hands down, Kendrick's an all-time great. But even if he misses on something like this, I don't think it's totally detrimental. But I think that the biggest risk here is if he doesn't meet the standard on a 5 year hiatus, it's kind of a wrap, right? I mean, is that fair to say? Like, I think people can say, you know what, the Kendrick thing is over.
He's putting himself, like he's officially putting himself under the type of pressure that no MC has ever been under. It's like, okay, so you're going to take a 5 year break and then you're going to try to double disc it on top of that, or double digital stream. I don't know even what
if he connects here. If he connects here, this is all time great stuff.
Oh, if he hold on. So this is like,
let's talk about that. If he connects.
Well, let's talk about it because like I'm not the gambling man that I used to be, Mike, but I don't mind taking chances, and so I'm not averse to a man that likes to take risks because bigger the risk, bigger the reward.
Right.
He's taking epic level risk at this point, though, with the double album. I'm saying that, and I think sometimes people get it confused and think that I'm not a fan of Kendrick. I'm a pretty big fan of Kendrick. I actually just went by Good Kid, Mad City in this case, and I was thinking to myself, that might have been the last CD I ever bought, Mike. Good Kid, Mad City might have been the last CD I bought. Like, bought,
DeCarlo says if he connects, it's going to be unreal, and I agree with that.
If he connects, it's going to be on Unreal, and we're going to have...
We'll have top 5 conversations then.
We're going to have top 5 conversations if he connects. Yes, we are.
But if he doesn't connect, 5 year hiatus in tow.
So the same way you can go from being like borderline top 10 to in the top 5 is the same way that you should probably maybe get slid back 5 to 7 notches about this weight and about it not being worth the wait. Wouldn't you say so?
Oh, I agree.
Because if we be fair on one side, we got to be fair on the other side. So people look at it as like, oh, well, he can jump into the top 5. It's like, yeah, but he can jump his ass to 20 too.
This is very pivotal. Big sliding right here. But and I want to be fair, the reason why the slide is so big is the 5 year hiatus. And what's been going on for the past 5 years. This ain't a regular 5 years. This isn't 2010 to 2015 5 years.
No, this is what I want to say to that.
This is heavyweight.
No, listen to what I'm about to say. This is why I keep bringing up the Rakim point. He wasn't the greatest MC of all time when he left. He stood shit to lose when he left and took this break. That's why I told you, after you heard the 18th letter, well, he left the game as the greatest MC of all time. There were only a few people that even came along that didn't even put that into discussion or conversation. So you still walked away from the 18th letter like, no, still might be that guy and still definitely deserves to be in the conversation. He wasn't even that when he left. He was somebody that was looking like a borderline top 10-ish guy when he left. What happens when somebody borderline top 10 leaves like this? Because the other guys that everybody keeps bringing up that have left like this are Nas and Rakim. That's literally number 1 and number 2 on my list. He's not that.
Jay Short with the super chat says, I don't see how he delivers a classic double album with no support or crew. Big had Bad Boy, Pac had Death Row, Kendrick has, and that's a really, really, really fair point because that was a collective effort on Life After Death. And that was clearly a collective effort, on All Eyes on Me. Because when Pac got out, Death Row was like everybody's songs, all hands on deck.
People don't understand. Puff and Big called the East Coast for Life After Death. Havoc's on there. RZA's on there. The entire Hitman on there. Locke's on there. Like literally the only
Jay-Z's on there. Like Nas. Kim's on there.
Kim's on there. Jay's on there.
Too Short's on there. DMC's on there.
Right.
Premier. You said that, I'm sure. Bone Thugs and Harmony's on there.
Harmony is on there. They called everybody. It's like calling all hired guns.
Yeah. And with Pac, they literally were giving people his song. I mean, they were literally having people give Pac their songs. California Love is Dre's song. Mom Made Up is Dog Pound's song.
Hold on, which one is Dog Pound's song?
Mom Made Up.
Yeah, no. They're like, no, that belongs to Tupac now. And
Yeah.
everybody, and you want to know it, everybody was like, cool.
Yeah, all hands on deck. And I think that's a fair point. When it comes to Kendrick and doing a double album, I don't think there's that level of support that Big and Pac had to make something to that level. So he's kind of behind the 8 ball on that.
Self-inflicted wounds.
Oh, definitely. So Hudson says, have y'all heard of Black Hippie? I don't know. I haven't heard of him in like 10 years.
Who are they?
Kendrick doesn't put any of them on any of his albums. I think the last time I heard from them on a Kendrick album was on Money Trees. Correct?
Who are they and where are they?
We can't start pulling stuff like that out our ass now. Because they're not on To Pimp a Butterfly. No. They're not on Damn.
No.
They're not even on the unmastered, whatever, untitled, unmastered.
Yeah. They're even.
Dumb It Down says, whatever Lupe brought up, whenever Lupe's brought up, Coop disses him. Look at the chat.
That's not true. I brought up the cool in a positive way just earlier in this show to actually show Lupe's intelligence, because he knows how to format an album and still keep the street aesthetic to it while attaching something that's attached to the African American diaspora educational system around this nation. So brother needs to listen to the show from beginning to end. Right.
LP says, everything we loved about the 80s, Rakim and Eric B's style. By the 18th letter by the time the 18th letter came out, he wasn't wearing no chains, wasn't wearing no hoodies, all at the time. I never thought about that, but that's interesting. Well-versed Session says, if Kendrick connects, he did something that Nas and Jay couldn't do. Yeah.
Yes.
So let me ask you guys this. What do y'all think about him doing a double disc? Do y'all think he's going to connect? With that being said, he's doing something that Nas and Jay couldn't do when they were in perfect rhythm. Jay had just made the blueprint. Jay was at really the apex of his talents. Now, clearly, Ether just happened, and I think that he dug deep and was rhyming his ass off on the blueprint too, but it still suffered from the fact that it was simply a double disc. I think that's the biggest knock on the blueprint too. It's a double disc. Like if you, what's that?
Wu-Tang Forever.
Yeah.
Thing with Streets Disciple and Wu-Tang Forever, it's 2 discs.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying, if you think, like, I don't think people understand this. This doesn't play well unless this album is All Eyes on Me or Life After Death level. And I'm going to say this, and you know I've said this before, Mike. I'm not even in love with this 2 on All Eyes on Me like that. I tell you, All Eyes on Me Book 1 is a top 10 album because of this 2 is just a top 20 album. This 1 is a top 10 album. And I'm going to say this again. He hasn't made any. Kendrick doesn't have one album as good as All Eyes on Me Volume 1. I don't care what you say. You don't have any evidence of that shit. There's more classic songs.
They're going to kill you in the chat for this.
No, listen to me. There's more classic songs, or just as many classic songs on All Eyes on Me Volume 1, like in terms of hip-hop classics, than maybe he's made in his entire career. Like on Volume 1. Think about this. Ambitions as a Rider is on there. All About You is on there. Got My Mind Made Up is on there. How Do You Want It is on there. America's Most Wanted is on there. No More Pain is on there. I Ain't Mad at You is on there. California Love is on there. I just named Kendrick's greatest
Only
hits.
God could judge me.
God can judge me. Like, stop playing with me. He ain't never made no album like that. And so if you think that after 5 years, he's about to go make something comparable to that, yeah, I want to see if he's smoking on my top 5. Yeah, I do.
Man says, big risk if it don't hit. Every track, no skip. I mean, I don't want to be that critical on it. Rigorol 7 says, Kendrick definitely holding. He been letting everybody outside Nas play their card. I think he's finished shit. Okay, you said that Kendrick's been holding out on material. See, the part of that I don't believe is because if you had material you were holding on to and it was fire, we would have heard that right after the Super Bowl. But see, you said something earlier. Black Thought has put him in not Black Thought. Black Star and Black Thought have put him in a vicarious position right now. Because we just heard the next level. We just heard the next level.
A week before your release.
Yeah. Now what you got?
Yeah. I feel like listen to MLP song, and he up. And he up. get him, because they just upped the ante. And I told you,
Yeah.
what they did well is what he does. All of y'all that love To Pimp a Butterfly, like that's what To Pimp a Butterfly is supposed to sound like when you want to hear it all the time. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's
man.
like
That
that's the
Black Star
same
album is
zone.
exciting.
That's that same zone. That's that same zone. And they just operated in that zone just as well as him, as if not better. And his album is dropping next week. It's like, yeah, pressure's on.
And then they did it with 9 songs, got in and got out.
Got in and got out.
Ryan Gillum.
I'm starting to appreciate more how they did it. Like, it starts to make me think that they kind of knew what they had on their hands.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they knew what they was going to do. Like, this has been so long coming that they were, like, in the mode to execute. And some of the highlights of Talib's interview with NPR kind of touches on the zone that most gets him in because of most of spirituality with Islam. Yeah.
And I love the fact that they dropped it in the middle of the week, too. And...
Yeah.
And the fact that, did you hear that part where he was saying that, you know, they didn't drop it because, you know, Mos and Ramadan and all that stuff? It worked perfectly because you got the industry baby and Jack Harlow that's dropping Friday, but then you got Black Star dropping that Wednesday, and they just took all of that attention from the middle of the week. I thought that was awesome. I have no problems with the way they released it. And then, like you said, they just put all the pressure on Kendrick Lamar that's dropping next Friday.
They put all the attention on hip hop.
Mm-hmm. Ryan Gillum says, how is Androgynous Wave not a good album? I love that album, actually.
What did he say?
That Lupe album, Androgynous Wave.
You know, everybody keeps telling me to go back and listen to it.
No, that album's dope. I thought that album was slept on the year it came out, because that was 18, I believe.
You think it's better than The Cool?
I think musically, I'm going to listen to both of them side by side. I think musically he took it somewhere different on that. And I wouldn't be mad if someone thought it was better than The Cool. I wasn't a super big fan of The Cool. I mean, I like it. I'm going to go back and listen to both of them. Nas the GOAT says, Coop, you are so disrespectful when it comes to Lupe. Lupe is better than Kendrick. Androgynous Wave is better than To Pimp a Butterfly. LP says...
Who's being disrespectful now, really?
LP says the way things are now, it's going to connect, whether it's worth it or not, because of how fan bases are now. Today's fan bases aren't objective anymore. I think the thing is, man, when it comes to Kendrick and his mainstream success, we're going to be able to gauge how organic the fanfare is for it. Because if these songs don't age well and we don't hear them throughout the rest of the year, this didn't connect. This ain't gonna be one of those things you can say connected that first week and we don't hear nothing else. You know what I mean?
And never underestimate this. Every fan base, every artist fan base, even for as legendary as it may be, has their fan base go through a period where their fan base like gets married, buys homes, starts traveling, perspective on life start changing. Like your fan base changes too. That's one of the reasons that you end up with a Blueprint 3 and Life is Good. Well, it's not just the artist that has changed, but so are the people that have listened to their music. It's like, this nigga been rapping about this since he was 19. I don't want to hear that anymore. And so he needs to be mindful of that in this process too. Because I mean, the last time we seen him, he was like, 29 going on 30? That would make him 34 going on 35 now.
Yeah.
Those are some of the biggest changes in your life as a man, at least. And so for his demographic, what has happened to his demographic as well is something that's going to be telling, because everybody is saying that they love it. It's like, well, you love that in a space and a time. You might not love some of that stuff as much as you think when you grow up a little more. Like, I'll tell you, one of the things that I don't love about Streets Disciple is that I could tell that the artist that I love was about 7-8 years older than me from how he was talking about life and like marriage, because I was still like very much single and not, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I could hear on Streets Disciple that it was like, it's like, oh, no, this dude is like in love. It's like, oh, no, cut that shit off.
It's like, that's not the wave I'm on right now.
It's like, yeah, he's talking about the makings of a perfect bitch and no one else in the room. And it's like, no. We going to Buckhead
tonight. Jay Short with the super chat. He says, they still play All Eyes on Me tracks on the radio out here. Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Jay Short's in Cali, I believe. Cali? Yeah.
Okay, you out in Cali? Jay, tell these dudes how they just randomly play like Easy and Dre and Short and 40 and Pac and Game. Like,
well, hold. I want to ask Jay Short this, and you probably know too. Do they play Kendrick in Cali like that?
So I was only there for Section 80 for a
I want to
summer.
know, Jay Short, do they play Kendrick in Cali like that? You said they play All Eyes on Me, whole disc on the radio now in Cali.
Play
Do they
Kendrick like
play
that.
Kendrick like that?
You're gonna hear It's a Good Day every day in Cali. The Mike Speaks
Brian
every Sunday.
says, I hope you start a Patreon channel. I think most in the chat will support. I want to get the content like live review and album and music of the album with music playing. You know what? We need to do that.
We've talked
That
about
might
it.
be our Monday thing because we've been talking about possibly doing a Monday show. We might do a Patreon thing where we're able to actually play the music. We'll look into that. I think that's a good idea, Brian, and we really appreciate the fact that y'all would support that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we only want to do it if y'all gonna support it. You know what I'm saying?
We're only gonna do it if the people really deem it necessary. That's
Yeah.
kind of how we've moved since we've started. So
Definitely. Tominette says, off topic is the Moment of Truth the top 50 hip hop album.
easy.
Personally, it's in my top 5, but Guru don't get the love like that.
Easy.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean,
Easy.
1998 was such a heavy year in hip hop. It's I would say a top 3 in that year.
Yes. And
I'm going to Kumana's Dark and Hell is Hot in that one, honestly. For me.
yes, no. Those 3.
Yeah.
I agree. And you could and all 3 of those albums are top 25 rap albums to me.
Okay. Well, all right. So we'll end the Kendrick subject on a prediction. Do you think it's going to be a double disc or no?
It's looking that way. And how about this?
And I don't feel good about it.
I'm about to say, and I don't like that for him. And I'm just going to say honestly, a lot of people are like, "Oh, keep that energy. You hating on Kendrick?" No. I want him to win. And all I've been saying is that how he's been moving isn't set up for success for him. And I want to kind of say something else. A lot of people think, Mike, that like I'm the influencer on this show. I want you to understand the 2 biggest turning points in this show actually are things that you turned me on. Because the 2 main people that when this podcast started that I defended were who?
Kendrick
Andre
and
3000 and Kendrick Lamar. And y'all can go pull up the footage of when this show first started. People think I be influencing Mike and changing Mike's mind. No. Michael turned me on Andre and Kendrick, and I'm gonna tell you exactly where the turn started. And we're gonna say this right quick and go because I keep bringing up the work thing, and so the work thing now has gotten attached to me. It's like, well, I know Coop, you don't like niggas that don't work. No, it's not me that don't like niggas that don't work. It's Mike that don't like niggas that don't work because it's the first thing that he kept on highlighting to me about why Andre doesn't deserve to be held in this conversation. Mike, what did you always say? But Coop, he hasn't done the work that other people have done that are in the conversation with him. And so when I started actually looking at the work, I was like, hold on, Mike's actually on something because Nas has rhymed more from 2020 to 2022 than Andre has almost in his entire rap career.
It's crazy, right?
And so when things like that occur, well, I tend to change, and I'm the type of person. I'm like Malcolm X's Aunt Ella in the autobiography. She was like a staunch Christian, but like when she converted to Islam, she was like the hardest, like most gangster Islam Muslim loving wearing. You know what I'm saying? Like that's me.
You go hard.
Right, that's me when you turn me. And so what you really turned me on to with the Andre thing is how so many of our great MCs do what? Don't work hard.
I think what it is too, man, not to cut you off, I think that, just operating according to hip hop and a lot of the content and all that stuff from a social media aspect, I was seeing all the work that people were putting in. And I think when you start doing the show, you start seeing, damn, Westside got 3 albums this year. Freddie Gibbs did this, and you kept seeing people frequently coming out, and then you're sitting here looking at these guys that you were holding high, not doing anything.
Not doing anything.
And it's like, how much longer can you defend that?
No, you know what happened though? Is that
and then Nas came out and did what he did.
No, something happened personally. I know for a fact. Well, you and me were working, and then we were working on this, and this required us to work our day job and then work at this more. And then I was looking at all the work that we were putting in, and I'm like, man, we sure are putting in a lot of work to talk about the motherfuckers who really don't do a lot of work. It just didn't seem inherent. Something about it as a black man, something about it as a 40-year-old black man. I guess I was 38 at the time, but something as like a black man that's approaching 40, something about that seemed unfundamentally sound too, about where we were in this hip hop sphere, where we keep revering these guys who don't go to work. Where the fuck else is this okay for us as black men as America? Where else do we not go to work and get revered? Everywhere else where we get up and we do not go to work on a regular basis, we ain't shit.
I've always respected Jay-Z's work ethic. And then when Nas came and did what he did, he took it to the next level.
But only in this hip hop sphere is it that it's like, well, no, he's having label issues. Well, no, this happened. And it's like, we don't get passes like that anywhere else. And why is it okay to give it a pass in here? It's not okay to give it a pass in here. Get up and take your ass to work. If you an MC, what did KRS One say? I'm an MC. Are you one too?
Jay Short with the super chat says, outside of Humble and swimming pools, they play no Kendrick out there in LA.
That's problematic. Are they still playing like Ice Cube stuff, like you know how we do it and Bop Gun and It's a Good Day? Because they was playing that shit every day when I was out there.
Yeah, I play Mac 10 for life all the time. Dumbing down with the super chat says, look at the chat. Everyone says Lupe is better than K Dot. You clearly don't respect his catalog the way others do. He got at least 3 classics, better than K Dot. I love the fact that Lupe's fans ride for him like that. Lupe's an incredible lyricist.
No, Lupe's fan base is based on that Nas tree of like incredible lyricism. So a lot of the people who are Nas fans that follow us are big Lupe fans too. Now, are you asking me, is Lupe a better lyricist than Kendrick? It's like, yes. And after that, what does he do better than Kendrick?
I think this is the thing, man. And I know...
I don't care what people say. He doesn't have one album better than Good Kid, Mad City. And no, Draga's Wave, and I remember Draga's Wave, and I'll go listen to it again. But I'm still pretty certain it's not To Pimp a Butterfly or Damn. But
this is my thing on the Lupe and Kendrick thing.
And I love the Cool.
And I think Lupe feels this way too. I don't want to speak for anybody, but look, we both were trying to get in the rap game in the early 2000s, right? Mid 2000s, maybe, whatever. The game was different. It wasn't lyricist friendly. And I think Lupe came in he came in around those same times. And he was able to break through with it, doing what he was doing. And by the time he expended himself on his first 2-3 efforts, here comes this new wave where somebody like Kendrick's able to be himself and get all the fanfare for an effort like a Section 80, Good Kid, Mad City. And I think Lupe truly believes, and I believe this too, if he came around 2009, 2010...
he's Kendrick.
Yes.
I can agree with that too, because Food and Liquor has Good Kid, Mad City vibes.
And if he would have gotten the support of the rest of the industry in the ways that Kendrick did in 2009, 2010, that effort would have sounded a lot different.
Now let's stop for a second. Now Pusha T just had Pharrell and Kanye behind him at the same time. But you know, the first time I saw Pharrell and Kanye get behind one guy at the same time?
Lupe.
And that was when they were production-wise at their peak. So no, he had fair opportunity and fair shot. Because he had Pharrell and Kanye co-signing him at the main time when literally everything that Pharrell or Kanye said or did went in this industry. So those people need to go back and look at history and understand that shot was afforded fairly to him. On a personal level, and I've always told you this, Mike, Kendrick's family is from Chicago, and when you look at them stylistically and rhythmically, rhyme pattern-wise, what they do. Oh no, Lupe is superior because Kendrick has more of a Chicago style when he gets to that doing that rhyming shit than he does a West Coast sounding style. Well, Lupe's better than that. But what I'm going to tell you is that the separation of them in artists is what you hear really in Food and Liquor and Good Kid, Mad City. Kendrick is more entertaining and a better songmaker.
I think Kendrick can play for the radio much better. And I think that...
He can do Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe and Money Trees, whereas Lupe does like Kick Push and The Cool.
I agree with you. Nas the GOAT says Lupe has 4 great albums. That's on the level of Kendrick's 4 albums. We could do a poll for this. He said Food and Liquor, The Cool, Test 2 and Youth, and Draw Just Wave. Lupe
Those,
was K
those
Dot
are all,
before. He said Lupe
those,
was K Dot before K Dot.
those are all good projects. The only one of those projects I would consider to be great is the Cool. The rest of them are good. Like, how about this? We talking about 3 4s and a 4.5.
AKs and Curtains says Test Tubes and Curtains is better. I'm sorry, and Youth, excuse me, is better than the Pimp a Butterfly.
A lot of people feel that way, but I'm
They
trying.
do.
Okay, you want to know what?
I love you,
I'm going
Lupe
to.
fans, man. Cause
No,
I
no,
love
I'm going
Lupe.
back.
You know what I'm
No,
saying?
no.
Like Mickey Fax is the homie. I've never met Lupe, but you know Mickey Fax and Lupe are real close, and they're incredible
No,
lyricists. So I'm glad that the fan base rides for them like that.
no, and they're riding right now. So I'm going to tell you what we're going to do, especially seeing how we're about to be like reviewing Kendrick in about 10 days. So one of these next 2 shows before that review, we'll pull up Kendrick's 4 and Lupe's 4, and I'm gonna go back and listen to all Lupe's shit. Like I know Food and Liquor and the Cool like the back of my hand, so I really don't need to go hear them, but I will go listen to Driver's Wave again and Test 2 and Youth again.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that and talk about that next
Like,
Wednesday.
I like that nobody bought up Lasers because that shit was whack.
Yeah, no one brought up lasers.
How y'all not bringing that up? That at least lets me know that it's heads. Y'all know y'all Lupe shit and that y'all not going off the deep end. And out of respect and the fact that according to hip hop is run by the people and for the people, I'm gonna go listen again. I just happen to think that you're probably wrong, but we'll see.